Divorce and remarriage have been complex and often debated topics within biblical discussions. Understanding these issues requires a careful examination of Scripture, starting with foundational passages like Deuteronomy 24:1-4. This text not only outlines the laws regarding divorce in ancient Israel, but also sheds light on God's perspective on marriage and its sanctity. In this first part, we will explore the historical, cultural, and linguistic context of this passage, providing a framework for understanding the biblical approach to these sensitive matters. Deuteronomy 24:1-4 deals with the law of divorce. It reads, "If a man marries a woman who becomes displeasing to him because he finds something indecent about her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, and if after she leaves his house she becomes the wife of another man, and her second husband dislikes her and writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, or if he dies, then her first husband who divorced her is not allowed to marry her again after she has been defiled. That would be detestable in the eyes of the Lord. Do not bring sin upon the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance." Context and historical background. This law is part of the Deuteronomic Code, chapters 12-26, which were laws given by Moses to the Israelites, guiding them on how to live in the land they were about to enter, Canaan. The law addresses a situation where a man divorces his wife, and later she marries another man. It prohibits the first husband from taking her back after she has married another man, whether the second marriage ended in divorce or death. Historically, in ancient Israel, divorce was not uncommon, and men had the power to divorce their wives. However, the grounds for divorce were debated among Jewish scholars, particularly around what something indecent, ervat davar, meant. The Hebrew text and key words. The Hebrew used in this passage includes several important terms. 1. Sefer keritut, a certificate of divorce. This is the legal document that a husband gives to his wife when divorcing her. The term keritut is related to the root karat, meaning to cut off, indicating that the marriage is being severed or cut off. 2. Ervat davar, root ver, something indecent. This phrase is what causes much debate. The term ervat refers to nakedness or sexual immorality, but the precise meaning of davar, thing or matter, has been the subject of interpretation. Some interpreted it as a serious sexual transgression, while others saw it as a broader term for any form of displeasure or failure in the marriage. Narthri, tema, defiled. This term is used to refer to the wife becoming ritually impure in the eyes of the law after her second marriage. 4. To'eva, detestable. This word is used in other parts of the Bible to describe practices that are seen as morally abhorrent to God, such as idolatry. Interpretations and application. The main legal point in this passage is that once a woman has been divorced and remarried, her first husband is not allowed to take her back, even if her second marriage ends. This is seen as a prohibition against revolving door marriages, where a woman could be passed back and forth between husbands. The law prevents this by stating that it would be considered an abomination in the eyes of God. The passage also reveals how marriage and divorce were handled in Israelite society, where men had significant authority. The woman's rights were not as explicitly protected, although the certificate of divorce provided her with some legal standing. The reference to detestable indicates the seriousness of the matter. This was not just about the woman's purity, but about maintaining the sanctity of marriage and avoiding practices that might be seen as disrespecting the covenant of marriage. In the time of Jesus, the interpretation of something indecent became a hot topic, particularly between two major schools of thought. The school of Shammai held that divorce could only occur for serious reasons, such as sexual immorality. The school of Hillel allowed divorce for much lesser reasons, including trivial things like a wife burning food or being unappealing in some way. Jesus referred to this issue in Matthew 5:31-32, where he declared that divorce except for sexual immorality was not acceptable in God's eyes. His teaching in this regard was meant to raise the standard of marital faithfulness. The passage has had lasting influence on Jewish law and Christian ethics. In both the traditions, It has been used to discuss the sanctity of marriage, grounds for divorce, and the consequences of remarriage. In Judaism, rabbinic interpretation narrowed the grounds for divorce, while Christianity generally upholds a more strict view of marriage, often considering divorce a sin unless there is marital unfaithfulness. In sum, Deuteronomy 24:1-4 addresses the dynamics of divorce and remarriage in Israelite society, while emphasizing the importance of marital purity and the sanctity of the covenant, framing it as a moral issue with profound consequences. Conclusion: Deuteronomy 24:1-4 reveals that God values marriage as a sacred covenant. It warns against treating divorce and remarriage lightly, emphasizing the need for respect, commitment, and holiness in marital relationships. In Part 2, we will further explore how this passage connects to the teachings of Jesus and the New Testament perspective on marriage. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And remember to hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to see our next video. God bless you, and see you in Part 2.